the revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.
Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fights or our Kings, and this is courtesy of Highbet. We've got David Haye here today. David, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm not bad. All is good. Yeah, feeling nice, feeling good. Exciting times, mate.
It is. Look, I want to talk about this weekend's heavyweight fight coming up, but just quickly, obviously, I'm going through Sky Sports News yesterday, and there's big talk about one of your old pals, Derek Chisora, talks of a fight with a Jarrell Miller. But let's just start with Elbow for a change. What would you like to see him do next? He's talking about this 50th fight in December coming up. Says it'll be his last one. Who knows? What do you want?
I was with him last night in the Grosvenor. It was the Pride of Britain Awards, and Derek's very excited. He's got the fight that he wanted with Dillian Whyte, their third fight. He's lost twice before. They've agreed terms between each other. I think it's like 50-50, and the winner gets 60, loser 40, plenty to fight for. And yeah, what a great way to close the Derek Chisora chapter. Then in his mind, going out there and winning that trilogy fight. I'm sure Dylan's going to have other ideas. I know that he's a worry. He's beaten Derek twice, so he's thinking there, no problem, he's going to get a third. I think it didn't look good for him in that last fight, losing the round of Matoma.
Mm-hmm.
But whether he was fully fit, I don't know. But he wants this fight. They both want it. So yeah, super excited. Very, very happy for Derek that he's got that big 50th fight that he wanted. And the fans get it. The fans get the everyone knows exactly what you're going to get when you see these two guys get into the ring. It's complete action.
So that fight's done, is it?
As far as I'm aware, both the fighters have agreed the terms. Normally it's the dough, the money side of it is what normally keeps these fights. But they've agreed the split, and that's it. Plain and simple. They're ready. They're ready to go, and yeah, exciting for both of them.
Is this the if this does happen and we do see this in December? Is this the I always don't want to say the perfect way to bow out for either man, because you never know what can happen in boxing. But is that the perfect sort of final chapter potentially?
I think so. I can't think of a better final fight for Derek and for Dylan. I'm not sure how much more Dylan after the last fight. How many people were interested in seeing him fighting anyone else? But Derek, okay,
Mm-hmm.
they won't mind. They won't mind that, and it's definitely going to get people excited. All the fight fans.
What's your relationship like with Del Boy now? I know you've had such a storied history from sharing the ring. Obviously, everyone talks about that incident, but then you almost became, you seem to become friends. He got into incredible shape, I remember, under yourself when you were together last time and on that run you had. What's your relationship like? Could you potentially work with Del again for this last one?
Possibly. He's a big character. He likes it how he likes it, but fortunately, he's living the life between fights.
Mm-hmm.
That years gone by, he didn't. He's got a great team, London Shoot Fighters, and they make sure when there's no fight scheduled, he's training. He's training. A few days a week. He's pushed himself and keeping building the machine. So when he does get that call up, he's ready to go straight into sparring, and he doesn't have to have this, 6 weeks of just losing the blubber, losing the weight that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been put on from bad eating. He watches his food. He looks after himself. So he's got the discipline, around him. And what a great and it showed. He's won his last 4 fights,
Mm-hmm.
on the spin. At a time a few years ago, you'd have said, "Oh, he's not really much that could come from Derek." But here he is, fight 50. We're looking at a big trilogy fight, and he'd be pack out an arena and a pay-per-view, and he sells out into the sunset. So I think it's a great fight.
Look, if that does happen and that comes off, it will be an interesting build up to that one. Look, this weekend I want to get your opinion. Joseph Parker, Fabio Wardley. Incredible story from Fabio Wardley when you think about where he's come from, and he's shown such a lot. Joseph Parker as well. I feel like a bit of a resurgence under Andy Lee the past few years. He's chomping at the bit to get a world title shot with Usyk, but this is a really good fight and a dangerous fight for both. What do you make of it?
Yeah, a very, very dangerous fight for both. I think it's a safer fight for Parker, as Parker has fought very dangerous guys. Bacoli in his last fight, Zhang, Deontay Wilder. All three of those are very dangerous guys, very awkward guys. They're guys that a lot of people have avoided over the years. And he fights them back to back to back. And we've now got Wardley, another big punching guy. Didn't look that slick in his last fight. Was getting outmaneuvered. He was getting outboxed. Taking too many clean shots. Mm-hmm. But he's got that crazy punch power. He's got that one punch go to sleep power, and he needed it against Hooney last time out. He really did, and he had it. I've seen fights in the past where he's just not going to fight his way, but I've got that magic to turn it all around, and that's what he has. I think skill for skill, Parker's been around too long, too experienced, and just it will be too much for him.
Would you like to see the winner fight Usyk? Is that the natural progression?
Yeah, 100%. I genuinely think Parker should be next in line if Usyk is going to continue boxing. There's no one else who deserves a shot more than Parker. And if Wardley can beat Parker, then he deserves it. I think he's a reason why he's like number one knocking on the door, and has been for years, it seems. But once again, he's willing to jump through hoops again, fight another dangerous young guy. No problem, bring him on. So I think it shows testament to his mindset.
100%. Look, a few weeks after that, we have the Eubank Benn rematch. Interesting press conference, interesting build-up. We know the story and the narrative from fight one. Now we're jumping into fight two. Do you have a difference of opinion going into the rematch? We saw how, obviously, Bomac's now back involved with Eubank. A lot of people saying that maybe it took more out of Chris than it did with Conor. How do you sort of, when you look at that fight now, seeing what you saw in the first fight, how does that sit with you? What's your sort of gut feeling about what will happen?
Normally, to know what's going to happen in the second fight, you got to kind of look to how the first fight went. And I think it's going to be a similar thing. I think the size difference was apparent, and I think that is still going to be there in a few weeks. Chris isn't getting any smaller.
No. Does Bomac make a big influence on this fight? Do you think? Does he add that bit of extra spice to it? He had a good performance against Liam Smith, but yeah.
I definitely think having someone as experienced as Bomac, who's been there with Crawford from day dot, he's someone with a wealth of experience, and it brings that confidence. It's always nice to have someone there, and you believe in the heart they know exactly what the game plan is. It has a great chance of success, and it's nice to see everything flowing. And last time out, it was one of the best fights I've seen. It was toe to toe, and I expect the same thing again. I think both fighters, they're hungry. They want. Neither of them have won a world title, but it's not about that. No. It's about legacy. It's about heart, determination, will to win. And it was like they both laid it on the line. They really did give it everything they had, and it was great. It was great to see. So I think we're going to get more of that.
Couple more from me. Do you think either of them two, whatever they do after this fight, do you think either can win a world title?
Yeah, I think both can. Irrespective of the result, I think they both showed it last time out. I think both of them have capabilities of winning world titles. Benn at welterweight, stay around his natural weight, and Chris at sort of middleweight. Tough, some big names, and some big. It's a crazy, but I think they've both got the capabilities to win a world title.
Last one from me. So you were someone who obviously had that history of winning the world title belt. It's every fighter's dream. You win a world title. The introduction to Dana White in boxing and his plans to not recognise any of the sanctioning bodies, introduces a for belt. Obviously, he's going to recognise the Ring magazine, I believe, as well. Him and Eddie Hearn already back and forth. I feel like we're going back in time to Hearn versus Warren, and Dana's coming in. It's almost giving Eddie like a kick up the arse to sort of go, what you're going to come into this for. What do you make of maybe not just the back and forth, but Dana's comments on how he's wanting to maybe implement changes into boxing?
Boxing's kind of been how it's been for many years now, and lots of people have come and tried to change things, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The whole Riyadh season sort of changed things, but it seems to have changed it for the better, making the fight right. And I've always been a fan of more promoters. The more promoters there are, the more healthy competition there are, the more each promoter has to pay to secure the rights to the young talent coming through. I don't like the thought of one body, because that body, if it becomes big enough, has the monopoly, and the fighters get what they're given. And I like the current way boxing is. The fighters know their value, and they get paid accordingly. And that's why boxers earn the money they earn. They're putting their life on the line. They deserve it. So as long as there's more promoters, I'm all for it. I like promoters arguing and bickering of each other. It's interesting. It means that they're going to want to pay more for the fight, and that means more money in the pockets of the fighters. And it gives the fans the fights they want. And I think it's a good thing. I like it. Nothing wrong with a healthy bit of competition.
Absolutely. Well, David, look, I appreciate you giving us some of your time. Thank you to Highbet as well for sorting this out. A big shout out to Highbet. And yeah, look, we'll catch up soon. So I appreciate it.
The revolutionary ankle lock system, an integrated brace built into the boots, delivering unrivaled support, protecting ligaments from twists, tears, and trauma.